Yes, I know. And
Steve Jones. Oh, I forgot about this.
for some reason, I'm starting without video. And that's not the right video source, of course. There we go. Okay. Okay. Got the old echo.
Now, do I weren't using the big microphone before?
I mute this.
Do we need
Mute
to
yours.
it out?
Mute yours.
I'm muted.
You are muted. Okay. Let's see if there's a setting. Automatic adjust, suppress background noise.
Move it a little further up away from the speakers. Or turn the speakers down. Yeah. Move it up away from the speakers. That's it. Because we're close up here. That's better, right?
Let's see. Yeah, there's still a little echo.
Yeah.
Let's see. Automatically adjust. Auto. Hello. That's what it is. It's getting the audio from your computer.
It's not me.
No, that's me. Okay, so we don't want to automatically adjust.
Or maybe mute you.
But if I mute me,
Oh, I've got that thing, but I'm muted. I'm done.
if I mute me, we can't hear anything.
Okay.
I don't see,
Why do we have this all of a sudden?
because there's two different audio sources. Because your speakers, it's not.
There's nothing coming from here.
Yeah, but if you do that, you don't see it.
Okay.
That's better.
Don't see anybody. Oh, that's good. That may be a good thing. Yeah, that thing should reject stuff from the back.
How does it? Check. Nope, that's worse. Wrong button. Okay,
That may be better.
let's see if that
That is
works.
better.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Hello. Hello.
I can't hear me at all.
What's coming through that?
Well, yeah, but I think it's directional now. I think it's on the front. So let's put it back here.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Maybe that's a whole deal, a whole problem. That's much better. Yeah,
Hello?
that's good.
Hello?
Yeah, little echo, not bad.
It's pretty weak.
Yeah.
Let's see if Art can hear us. There's a little echo. But it's because there's two different sources now. Because it doesn't have the echo rejection that's built into this anymore because it's not coming out of my speakers, it's coming out of your speakers.
Oh, I see. But it's actually not bad. It's a little bad when we're talking.
I can
But I mean-
hear it, but it's not quite as good as
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. See, that one's got more of a.
Yep. It's much better the other way. It does do some.
There's something
stuff.
that going on when you flip those switches.
It absolutely does. Change stuff up. It's pretty good. Let's see if we get many complaints. That's not bad.
See, it's because we're hearing the echo because we're sitting in the same room. And there's two different sources now. It's just weird. That's just weird.
There's two different speakers.
Yeah. And there's,
Well, you can't, it's not rejecting the echoes from that
yeah.
to your system, okay? Because it would be using
Yeah.
negative feedback.
I don't see any, there's no longer a selection to do that either.
Yeah, they can't because it's not handling audio.
La la la, la la.
It'll probably reject, well, it may not.
See, I bet, now he might still hear some echo when he comes in.
Let's see.
I don't see any way to actually, there used to be an echo thing on this where you could adjust the echo. I don't see that anymore.
Enable screen sharing.
I can do that. Like messing with the other stuff. And you got to screen share now.
That's the
Oh.
Indonesia rig.
It looks like a CV.
Oh, yeah. Basically, a CB is a ham for a specific band.
It looks like an old CV.
Yeah, it does. It's got extra knobs.
Ah. It's not bad. How much was that? 150?
Let's see here. No, it's group 2. Okay.
Oh, at 250.
250. Yeah. End up being about 300 with shipping. The shipping They hit you hard with the shipping.
What are our band choices? There was something that said what band.
It's just, I think it wasn't the band choice, it was the, number 2 is the 100 watt, number 1 is the
Okay.
10 watt or something. Or 80 and 4, I don't know, we'll look it up. We'll get to the fine print down here. This just amazes me that we can do this.
There was something up there that was $100 too. 80. See, those all require a tad bit better antenna system.
You can,
For,
Yeah,
for
you
20
can take a
meter,
CB antenna and put a coil on the bottom of it, really.
20 meter might be all right.
Yeah. But I've had 80, 40, and 20 for the car and 15.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know they make the antennas for them. And I know it's usually a big coil sitting there. Go back up near the top. There was something up there that was $100.
$100, man.
Right there. Back.
Well, there's some other brands in here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now here's the USDX. See those?
Yeah,
See the 130?
yeah.
Okay, that's 5 watt. That's 8 band. That's everything.
Yeah.
Gotta be everything.
Those are the QRPs. There was one down here that had, go down just a little bit more. Right there, the black one over on the right-hand side. What is that?
It's a
Medium,
receiver.
medium wave,
Receiver.
just receiver, okay.
I
Oh,
mean-
look, a $6 one. That's a button.
Oh, I've been looking at this other one, this other guy too, this USDX. Oh, the cow. 8 band, 130 bucks. It's gonna be 5 watts, 35 sold. They've been moving them out. Let's look at their approval. Where are the numbers? I'm going blind. The number, 98.5, that's not too bad.
Yeah, well, that's the seller's feedback. You see where it says, yeah,
Positive feedback, 98.5.
click on, where it says more than 35 sold or more than 10 available.
See feedback.
See feedback, see what people are saying about this thing. Radio works great price. Nice little radio, having a lot of fun with it.
See all.
Yeah, only 4 people posted anything about it.
Oh, okay, so that is all.
So they may have sold 35, but only 4 people
Yeah.
have said anything about it.
And I think that's the Russian one. Let's look that up.
He says he's in China.
Oh, he does? Okay. Okay.
Shenzhen.
Yeah.
That's a large.
Well, you may end up with one of those to try out. 5 watts. Get your feet wet like a CB'er. Let's see now. Let's see what the bands
Well,
are.
there's nothing wrong with that one.
It's just
It'll go down.
10 meters.
Doesn't do 12. That's odd. 10.
3 to 5 watts and 8 bands. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. 10 is not efficient. Okay.
Well, that makes more sense. This one won't give you a waterfall or anything. It's just a
Nope.
simple radio.
It has cat,
Yeah,
PTT out.
yeah. I would imagine it would be easier to control with a computer than it would be just from the buttons and switches there on it. That's just a guess.
And here they are. There's even one cheaper, 128.
There's a 10 to 15 watt RS 918.
Yeah, that's a 918. Yeah, that's $380. Talking about doubling the price now.
Yeah, but you're also getting more power without having to buy an amplifier.
Well, the amps now, you get a kicker for these things. It's not that bad. It's less than 200 for the kicker.
Well, yeah, but when you add 100 for 130 plus 200 for the kicker,
Yeah.
and you've got an extra device to carry around, you might as well just get it all in one.
Get your toes wet first.
ATU 100, 50 megahertz.
Oh, you
It's
want
a
the 100
filter.
watt
It's a
one? Okay,
filter.
that's the big boy.
Don't necessarily need 100 watt. It's just nice to have the option of
Oh,
using it.
yeah.
I mean,
And you could probably build a kicker for these things pretty easy.
most of those radios I've been looking at are 15 to 20 watt.
Yeah.
Couple of them say 30 watt, but nothing more than 50 watts. I mean, it seems like with some of the new digital modes that are coming about, you really just don't need a whole lot of power to do anything.
Well, you need quite a bit. 100 watts is respectable. It's going to get. If you're running 200 watts and 100 watts, you might be able to tell the difference. But 100 watts is very respectable.
A lot of these digital modes are working QRP. I mean, they're working under 10 watts. So that would be where I want to go. If I was doing something, I would want to go digital. Hello.
Oh, hey. Vicente.
Vicente with stuff.
Okay, now we need to look at this 100 watt one to see what modes it has. And then I don't know what they mean. It may just be single sideband.
CWRX with sideband filter. I probably missed it. I probably missed where it's talking about modes. Oh no. Cats. Somebody went Halloween shopping.
Yeah, I got kids. I know what that deal is. It's got an iambic key. Iambic PD.
See, it's an Atmega 128. So it's not even a, that's not even a. Oh.
Steve, greetings. Steven, did you land those? Did you land the fish? Or did they land you, or did they try to milk your brain and leave you cold? Leave you out in the cold.
Just got off the interview.
Oh. They should be ready to punch your card, dude. I mean, we should have some card punching going on here. This should be serious talk.
That would be nice.
No, it's not. No, not be nice. This is This is what we call bull junk. And that'd be getting in some people's face. Nice talking to you guys. It's very nice talking to you guys. And walk out and act like you're worth something. Because you are. You ain't hay. You ain't chopped liver. And they can't treat you like that. I ain't gonna let them treat you like that.
They're not.
They better not be. It's the second time. They spend an awful lot of time talking to you. They should be getting very serious.
No, this is the first time I've talked with this guy.
Got a new guy today?
At Siemens. This is the first time I've talked with anybody at Siemens.
Oh, okay. Oh,
This
okay.
was.
This is the
Dean
hack
guys.
I used to use.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, where all has that hack been?
I use it all around the world.
You're talking about Westchester, Siemens?
Milford,
Milford. Oh, okay.
the old SDRC building.
Indiana Jones.
Yes. I think I bought it in Orlando. I don't remember. Yeah, or in Australia. I don't know. I used to buy them. I'll use them like the sunglasses.
Mhm.
Every trip I lose sunglasses.
Okay, what about this USDX?
Well, those
Yeah.
are some of the ones that we've been looking at for a
Do
while.
they support the brand X? They support the digital modes of transmission?
I think so.
But they're digital modes that are like RTTY and CW.
Well, yeah,
but not
because
single sideband.
they are they're Arduino based. Hush. Hush.
Mhm.
See what modes they have for this thing. No, nope. Full mode support.
Well, it's upper sideband, lower sideband, CW, AM, and FM.
Yeah. Embedded DSP and SDR. What's DSP?
Digital signal processing. So if you've got a DSP, I suppose you could do.
Is that digital transmission?
It's digital. It processes the signal.
Processes
It
the,
cleans it up and makes it.
oh, okay, so
sound
it's
better.
not a digital, it's not,
I like the 2,000 lines of open source software.
Yeah, and fully digital and software-based SDR receiver. So if it's an SDR, it should be able to do digital.
but what about the transmit side? Can you do digital on the transmit side?
Well, this is probably the most cost-effective and easy to build standalone SDR, SSB transceiver. Great simplification, the QCX circuit, blah, blah, blah. So if it's an SDR, it should be able to do digital with the right software.
There's no such thing as digital radio.
You just need the right software on it. If it's an SDR, you just need the right software to make it work.
What are you trying to get it to do?
Well, I said, you don't need a whole lot of power anymore for digital modes,
Okay.
for like FT8, stuff like that.
I mean, what's it?
Yeah, it's a funky digital mode. You don't need a whole lot of power. These things are only 5 watts.
Okay, to me, that's a lot of power.
Not when you're up against some guys that are running 1,500 watts. 5 watts is a little bit of nothing. You're really only supposed to use the amount of power that you need to actually complete the transmission. So in reality, you could probably start off high and start working down until you can't hear can't talk to each other anymore, go back up.
Yeah, here's your Anytone, 25-watt hand mobile two-way VHF, UHF, yeah.
Yeah, that's a different one. The one I was looking at was a different one altogether. But if it's a conventional transceiver, not an SDR, you need some extra stuff, external boxes and whatever to make it work, connect to the computer and do your digital modes. If
Okay.
it's an SDR, you should just be able to load the SDR software onto it and
100-watt is
Do it.
$235.
Okay. What you gonna do with it?
Talk. Yeah, yeah, to people in, same as always, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, if any of those still exist. But yeah. Yes, you have to be like, depends on what you do. If you do VHF, that means CB like to me, that's one group. And they have nets and stuff like that you can get on.
HF guys have that's too.
Was better in the old days without internet and without phone lines, to have a radio and try to talk with people all around the world.
There's
That's worse
still
than-
they still have, they call them buckets.
Yeah, but you see the average age of people going to senior, the annual meeting of ham radio convention.
Yeah.
They're old
60 years
Yeah.
average of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, go to the ham radio convention up here, yeah. The geezer, a
There is
lot of
something like
geezers
this.
do.
It's disappearing, I think.
There's some young guys. Some young guy carrying around a backpack with a big old antenna.
It's like the retro computing aficionado.
Yeah.
thing, no?
The difference, there's like a couple of different camps, right? There's the old guys who don't want stuff to change, and there's the new guys coming in that say digital, digital, digital.
Mhm.
And then you get well, if it connects to the internet at all, then it's not real radio. And you get the ones that go, yeah, it connects to the internet, but I'm holding a radio.
There is all kind of.
It's always been a diverse group. There are the people that build stuff, and then there are people who just have it to talk.
Well, I was impressed by the average age of people in the hackathon. How was the name?
Hamvention?
Invention.
Yeah.
The average was very high.
Yeah.
You can see kids around and see, but it's not
The
like
kids
other
there were with
conventions.
somebody else.
Yeah.
I watch the ham radio crash course guy, and there's a couple of other ones. They're mostly out west. To me, they look young, but they're probably closer to my age. And I just sit there and go,
Oh,
That's hilarious.
This is another one. You can buy this as a kit.
that is so pretty.
Solder everything. It's the same one that the big green one, but it's a
Oh.
bigger, smaller.
Get out of there so we could actually see what we're doing. Turn off your screen share
oh,
thing.
how would one do that?
I was working in a program for it. And the name, the guacamole
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Wow.
I made the
Uh,
illustration, and I made the program. I almost used all the memory of this thing to do that.
Yeah, you should
Play
check it.
random lines. I try to hit them, to win score, to earn the score.
But it's, like, the ham radio, back in my day, there was some supposed reason for it. And now There's still a reason for it.
Well, it used to be very useful when there are like natural disasters or something, you know.
China shoots down
Those people used to help a lot in logistic and those kind of things. But now there are plenty of options for communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, until the grid goes down.
Used to be the phone system was under control of the Department of Defense. They had a required uptime. These don't come anywhere near that.
The this radio is a DMR radio.
I don't know.
It's a digital mode. There's three general. There's more. DMR is based on a commercial brand, a
Okay.
commercial kind of digital mode that finally went open sourced. And once it went open source, pretty much everybody started making these radios.
And the frequency is open, or you need a license?
No, you need a license.
I think you need a license to transmit over 2 watts, no matter what.
So that's a different thing. In Europe, they call it PMR, which is a variation of DMR, sorta, I think. From what I've been able to understand what PMR is, it's a digital mode, but they've got frequencies that are like the FRS radio frequencies where they're allowed to use digital. The FCC says you're not allowed to use digital in the free open FRS frequencies, and you're not allowed to do it with some of the other stuff. But the hams can. But there is D-Star, which is a digital mode that was developed in Japan. There's Yaesu System Fusion, which is a hybrid system that caters to both the analog and the digital. And there's DMR for the amateurs. The
He's a no-dos over there.
the D-Star
He
and
got his coffee there. He's still conking out on it. It's like me.
D-Star and I'm getting to the point. I'm getting there. D-Star and System Fusion both require the repeaters to be connected to the internet. DMR does not require your repeater to be connected to the internet. So if the grid did go down, I could still use a digital mode to transmit, and the voice quality is actually pretty darn good.
Okay.
Now, the emergency guys they have what they call a bucket thing. And it's a galvanized bucket, and they throw in their portable gears. That's what these QRP things are coming out of. A lot of them have batteries built into them. You go, there's a battery in there? And one of the things they're recommending now for your kit is CB radio, seriously, for local communications. It's still alive. The truckers still use it. And for short distance communication, it's alive. Okay.
Why, what's the reason for converting to digital? It just uses more bandwidth.
It uses less bandwidth.
And you're getting longer
What's
distance.
your QTH?
Do I?
What's your
Where you live,
QTH?
where you are?
Where you live? Yeah.
I used to play with that.
And in analog mode, that's 25 kilohertz. In digital mode,
QAD?
it's 12.5.
Okay.
So it's using less.
And less bandwidth, if you can communicate, means less power altogether, and less bandwidth utilization too.
One of the advantages to DMR is on the same frequency, you can actually hold 2 entirely separate conversations. Because it will use the whole 25 kilohertz. And one side will be one talk group and one side can be another talk group.
Okay.
So you could talk back and forth. But that's kind of unique, and that was something that commercially they did that by doing time slices. So there's a slice, and if you listen to it if you look at it on a spectrum analyzer, it looks really cool when it's doing it.
Okay.
But that's one of the advantages. There can actually be two conversations going on that same frequency.
Gail says they're selling Chromebooks for $99 at Best Buy. 4 gigabytes.
Cool. I don't need another Chromebook.
Yeah.
I don't really use the ones I've got.
Yeah, my $35 Chromebook. Can't get rid of it. It won't die. The darn thing does video and crazy stuff.
We have a meeting this weekend for Plug. We're gonna be doing an install fest sort of thing. I pulled an old Dell 5500 out of the bottom of a stack. Core 2 Duo processor. The thing went out of warranty in 2012. It's got more power than my current laptop.
I have a desktop machine that I set up dual boot, has Windows 10 on it and Linux Mint 20.2. The other day, both partitions, there was an update. And I cannot get into either one of them. I can't get it.
Updating which? Mint or Windows?
Yes, both.
Oh,
So I did the update to Mint, rebooted into the Windows partition because I knew there were some updates to do, so I went ahead and did them. Rebooted again,
okay.
nothing. Yeah, I did boot sector repair. I did half a dozen different things that should have worked and didn't work.
Mhm.
And I've just come to the conclusion that I hate that computer.
Just give another. So this
When-
would probably fix it. Boot something like Mint thumb drive, Shroot into the hard drive so that you can see the partitions and everything there. And then run grub dash install,
I did that.
and that didn't fix it. Oh, wow.
No, what it actually ended up doing was it tried to partially fix it, I think. What it ended up doing was sending me into the Windows recovery thing. And Windows recovery kept saying, I tried to do just a boot repair from that to even get just back into Windows. And it kept telling me that everything was corrupt and it just was in a continuous loop. And I'm like, oh, crap, I don't know what the heck happened. I think it was probably a failed Windows update, but I don't know. that
That's what
for a
I'd blame
fact.
it on.
See what?
That's what I'd blame it on.
Well, I'm blaming it on, but I don't know that for 100% fact.
But
We've got images, 3 images.
I'm going to wipe the whole thing out and start over again,
Okay.
but I want to know why it did in the first place.
Oh, we're back to Y again. Told you never say that.
Have you played with 11 yet?
No.
I actually like some things about 11.
What are you talking about?
When-
Who
when
are
there's
you?
11,
Who are
We
you?
used to have a friend.
no, there are a lot of things that are more Linuxy now but there's still a control panel and a settings panel.
Well,
And pick one, guys, and go with it. There's still a lot of things that are why
it's
why
a,
they do this.
isn't it like a KDE desktop?
Yeah, pretty. It's
Sort
closer
of?
to CDE, but yeah. I don't know.
It
The
looks,
things I like are more visual. The icons are better.
yeah,
I hated the icons in Windows 10. Everything was 4 muted shades of blue. And now there's more contrast.
it looked,
It's smoother.
what little bit of it I've seen, it looked more like it was BSD, like Mac
Mhm.
OS,
Mhm.
OS X or
I
whatever.
use Windows 7.
Basically, every time I've gotten to the point of where I could get the upgrade for Windows 11, none of my machines supported easily, so.
I have a version of Windows 11 you can install on anything that'll run Windows 10
Yeah,
because it
I
says
don't
it is Windows 10.
I don't even really care. I mean, it's, I only keep Windows around for those few things that I absolutely have to, and the one machine I've got it, had a legitimate copy of Windows 10 on it, real copy, and, I've set it with the, VM, so I can boot it right in there. Boot the real thing, right off the hard drive, right from the, Oracle, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So,
I have.
and that works really well, actually, as long as you pay attention and let it actually boot. If you don't let it boot, then you end up with problems. But that works really well. And that way I never really have to ever shut down that machine. I can just leave it running Linux and still run everything I want to run in Windows.
Yeah, I run VirtualBox for Windows at home. I've got VirtualBox for Windows at work. I've got a Zen server that I've got a couple of Windows machines and a couple of Linux machines on. That's at work too.
I mean, over the past several years, I've thought that Windows was getting closer to Linux. I mean, each revision seems like they bring a little bit more Linux to it.
Load the current WSL Windows subsystem for Linux. It's interesting. And 11 has native support for X.
Oh, that's nice.
So you can SSH into another machine and
Really?
export your display.
So it really is, okay.
Yeah, that was one of the things I liked.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
I just admit it, guys.
No,
Linux is where it's at.
X11 has been the default way of exporting desktop components for 25 years.
At least.
Yeah. I had X11 terminals in the late 90s. Tektronix terminals, they did X. And so you have a server somewhere that's an X client, and you tell it, I want to run this graphical application, and it exports the display somewhere else. It's almost the same as Microsoft Remote Desktop Protocol, except it works.
Except it works. Well, I like doing.
There it is. We wonder where you're hiding.
I like X over SSH.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
So this would have been 2000 or so. I had starts with a B, internal TV tuner card on my Linux box. And My wife at the time got all upset that I didn't buy her one. Like, you don't watch TV. That doesn't matter. Kind of does, but okay. It was a dual tuner. So she had a Linux box. I gave her an icon. You click on it and it brings up the TV. And she had no idea that that application wasn't running on her machine. It'd do full screen video and audio. It looked good, it sounded good, and it didn't. I mean, I had a 100 megabit network at the time, and it didn't trounce it. It was perfectly happy. I could do a small screen across a modem.
X over SSH is really cool.
I run X in a cluster, a microvax cluster. How about that? And reboot one of them, why don't you? If you got some time.
So any new robot?
Did you see Batman on the Batman robot?
No.
Let's see if we can find Batman robot. It's on Kickstarter.
You know what, Art might just show up here. Better watch your P's and Q's. He's threatened us last time. If you didn't pay attention, he was threatening us last time. He could show up here. Man.
I gotta give him credit. I couldn't spend 6 months in California and 6 months here. I like weather too much.
Well, don't ask him which one he prefers now. He might be in for a shock. It's probably good. I mean, it's.
I used to live in San Clemente.
But when is supposed that the art will
I
come?
couldn't live there.
I don't know.
It's
Supposed
pretty.
to be in
It's
December
pretty
here,
over
right?
there. Pretty.
If you're in the 1,000 feet by the beach.
Oh.
If you're not
Well, you
in
gotta
that
be
1,000
inland.
feet,
He's not that close to the beach, is he?
I don't know.
He's inland a ways. Yeah. Reading is a beautiful area.
Okay.
I like Laguna Beach.
Hmm?
Laguna Beach is nice. All year long, 72 degrees, all year long. It's perfect.
Yeah.
You can put up with that.
No, I want snow sometimes. I want hot days to make me appreciate the snow.
Minus 30 every now and then.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
fine. I get amused when my girlfriend looks out and says, "It looks cold. I need a blanket." Like, the temperature in this room is 72 degrees and has been for the last 2 years. You being able to see snow out there doesn't make you need a blanket.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh. Is a cigarette lighter or what?
Ah, it's a robot. Okay, that's loud.
Oh, hi. Good to see you there. My name is Albert, and I really love playing with technology, as all of you can see. And ever since I was a little kid, I was a huge Batman fan. I always adored his strength, intelligence, and his gadgets.
Okay.
That's why I started playing with technology myself. It all started with simple electronic kits that I was building in my living room. And it was so amazing. You work on something for hours and hours, and you finally using AI and machine learning. But here's the catch. This product comes disassembled, like a kit, and you need to build it yourself and feel like Batman as well. While building the device,
Batman
you
had
found
Luther
It's a
Fox to build
It's a
stuff.
kid.
that will teach you about topics like engineering, electronics, and
Batman
science.
didn't actually build it. Batman had Luther Fox
But
to
the
build
fun
the
doesn't
stuff.
stop there. After assembling your Batmobile, you can connect it to your computer.
I thought
and
Alfred
code
built a
it.
lot of it.
You will learn about complex coding mechanisms,
It's a little boxy.
AI, machine learning, computer vision, and autonomous
The
driving,
only thing that
all while having fun.
it's 4-wheel
You will
drive, and
become the
that's
next STEM superhero while exploring the world of electronics
I'm sure anything Batman made
There's
would have
this
been
one
for
tiny
Yoda,
issue.
even his
Seems that
motorcycle.
Even this motorcycle. Four-wheel drive motorcycle, that's pretty good. It's on Kickstarter, it's like $100 and some odd dollars.
And they were fully funded in 3 hours or
Yeah.
something.
This guy's from, I bought something from him once before, he's from Croatia. $100. He's got 10 left for $100. It's an ESP32 with a camera, and it's ESP32 controller board. It's got a little screen on it, and it can wirelessly transmit the stuff. And he's got a QR code, so you can hold them up and have it drive around. I don't really like the four-wheel drive part of it. I don't know, it drives more like a tank than it does a car.
It's fun for 10 minutes and then, okay, so
It'll sit in
that's nice.
it'll sit in its box like everything else. It's Batman, that's the closest. It's got that front end, it looks like the old Batmobile from like the 40s. Or maybe the cartoon, the animated.
Model T, but model.
That's not my favorite Batmobile. My favorite Batmobile is the classic.
The TV show. One.
Everybody's seen the classic Batmobile.
The one that shows up at most of the cavalcade of customs.
That one, yes.
Along with the helicopter.
This one, yeah.
That's my favorite Batmobile.
Mine too. I used to have the tiny one, the Matchbox, small one, and the other middle size that had all the parts moves, you know, the doors, the missiles in the back, the fire moves when you move the wheels.
Oh, that would be cool.
The fire used to move in and out.
That would be
A
cool.
red plastic. thing.
I really only remember a few episodes, but one of them they had the woman who was trying to take down Batman and Robin. She was passed out in the Batmobile, and they're driving along, and she pulls a gun, and we knew about that. Used a laser to melt your bullets or something. Really?
Well, you know, it's a little sci-fi. It's a little.
Dictatorship, what Batmobile?
Was that your living room?
That is my man cave room. That is not even. Hey, that is not what I was sharing.
Is that,
They can't see what I'm sharing if you're looking at something else. That's my man cave.
That is a lot of Nintendo cartridges.
Yeah, well, you haven't seen anything yet because I've got over 100 Nintendo Switch cartridges. Or, yeah, I guess technically those would be cartridges. That is, Batman's all over here and up here and classic Batman and some Star Trekky stuff and the 1989 Batmobile and the Ghostbusters car. Yeah, I'm a nerd.
I have got to introduce you to a friend of mine.
Yeah, and before the meetings, I've been stopping at Walmart and Myers just to see if they've got more Batmobiles.
Oh, okay.
Not that I need them.
Hot Wheels loves you.
You remember Raspberry Pi, the Zero in Micro Center.
Yeah,
Another one.
another one. Yeah. So
So
this
it's $5
is-
Mhm.
for $4.99 or something.
Yeah.
Give me another.
So you know what though? Apparently there's a Raspberry Pi Zero shortage now.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
in my
I-
brilliance, I have
Stop.
But you wouldn't sell one of them on a bet.
I probably would
Well,
not.
they were selling the Raspberry Pi Pico
Yeah,
for $1.99.
yeah. Yeah, I got my
$2 or $200?
$2.
Okay.
$2. They
And
were
you
selling
can
them.
buy
You can buy
maximum
up,
five each
you
time.
can buy
you
up to
go.
5 of them. And then.
That's the RP 2040, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then that was like the introductory get you in the door price.
Mhm.
And I bought my 5 and then they raised the price. And that
Oh.
was the end of it. But for a long time, they had the zeros for $5. And every time I would go in there, I'd grab a zero. Even if I didn't need it, I would grab a zero.
Yeah, I did the same
And
thing.
the W was cheaper than
Yeah,
the standard one, you
Mhm.
know, without Wi-Fi.
I did the same thing, and I know I had to have bought at least 10 or 12 of those things, but damned if I know where any are.
I know where all mine are. Or I know where most of mine are. I opened a box the other day and there were 2 of them laying brand new, never even taken out of the
Yeah.
package. I'm like, oh, okay. Sooner or later, I'm gonna have to go to Micro Center and buy SD cards so I could use these things. But the, they raised the price of the 2 gig model, Raspberry Pi 4, the
Mhm.
base model, the entry model, back up to $45
Right. And reintroduced the
and,
1 gig.
and brought the 1 gig back. And I read the thing, it sounded like it kind of killed them to do it.
Mhm. Yeah, I read that too. I saw a link to the story on Reddit.
Hopefully that's only temporary.
I'm kind of curious if the 1 gig model would do the RDP stuff we're doing. Kind of want to buy one just to find out.
I've got one of the 1 gigs, I've never used it for anything. I bought it because I
It was
don't know
there.
why I bought it. It was there.
Where's the why question?
Yeah. I know, we're not allowed to say why around me.
Back away.
I will give this, I've been using the Samsung high endurance cards. And we've got 20 people now with Raspberry Pis, maybe 23. And I have not had one of those things fail yet. And these are 20 odd Pis that have been powered up now since April. You know, not all of them, but
I had something weird happen with one of my, I'm using it as a network share.
Mhm.
It's got hard drives plugged into it. And the other day, I could not access it to save my life.
Hmm.
I have no idea. It looked like it was online, everything was there. It showed up in the terminal and everything.
Mhm.
Could not access. I had to hard reset it, and that was the only way I was able to get back in. I have no idea what happened to it or why it did it, because because
Sometimes
that's,
just restarting the network is enough to reset the stack,
yeah,
if that's what's going on.
that's one of the ones that once I set it up, I don't update it or anything. I just leave it alone because it's doing what it's supposed to do and I don't care.
Yeah. I have one Pi that is an rsyslog server. All it does is listen for requests from other machines, writes those to a spinning hard drive, and it's a read-only file system other than that spinning drive. Most of my other stuff is read-only and pushes its syslog off to the one Pi. Yeah, that's handy.
That's probably what I need to do with that one is make it all real.
They're less chatty than you'd think, and that's now an option in Raspi config. It's quick and easy. It's in settings. I forget where.
Well, all I know, I don't update that one or anything because once I got it set up to do what I wanted it to do, and it was a little bit of a pain in the butt to get it to set up to do the network shares the way I wanted them to do it. He wanted to do sharing its own way, and I was like, no, I don't want you to do it like that. I can't share it to everything if you do it like that. There's something weird with Samba, the way Samba works.
Yeah. If you're ever stuck on that sort of thing, let me know. That's what I do all day.
Mess with Samba.
Yeah,
It was something weird. I don't even remember. I mean, I set that thing up like 4 or 5 years ago. So.
I've got about 450 shares on 20 odd servers, and they're all different.
Well, really, the last week when it did that was the first time that thing was ever given me any kind of grief. I don't know if the card's dying or if it's just being funky, if the network was hicking up.
Yeah, well, I have high endurance to the search term. It seems to make a difference.
Yeah, well,
That said, I've got a Raspberry Pi 2 that I bought when I lived in Middletown. So 2012. It's been powered up now for a couple, 7 years. Still going strong.
still going strong.
Yeah. Yeah, it hasn't been updated for a long time.
Yeah, it probably can't be updated anymore. It's probably at that point that if you want to update it, you just need to put a
Start
new
fresh.
copy on there.
Yeah, it monitors a camera, sends JPEGs back to another server.
The busy camera thing that I got, they are working on the software. They have updated it. I haven't tried it yet. But they've updated the software supposedly for the bird feeder application where it will spray the water. So I will update it this week and I will get some pictures of squirrels and whatever and bring it down here and see if we can get it to detect birds or detect squirrels.
I would love to put something like that out on the railing at our house.
Yeah, but if you send me some notes, I can advertise.
Well,
Couple of pictures or whatever.
I need to make sure it actually works first.
Well, that's always good, but you know, with us,
Marlo
it
loves
works, it doesn't
squirrels.
work. so okay.
Marlo loves squirrels. I hate squirrels.
What I would love to see is where it would actually classify the type of bird. You know, if it was a bluebird or something, it said,
Ooh,
Our timeshare cat brought a squirrel into the front porch the other day, and then we scooped him up and put him in his appropriate place, which is in a freezer bag with a piece of newspaper around him so he doesn't look at you when you open the freezer. And then later on, about half hour later, there's a hawk sitting in our front yard right by the sidewalk. I think somebody lost their squirrel and Fufo found him. I've got a Western Digital terabyte backup drive, line power, and it's been great, but my PC has taken exception to it. I plug it in, doesn't see it. Plug it in, reboot, plug it in, doesn't see it. Okay, I take it over, plug it into my brand new quad processor, and doesn't see it. I plug it in the USB 3 port, bam, immediately. What's the diff? What's the problem? Plug it in USB 2, nope. 3, bam. Okay. Now, I did a repair on it. I'll take it back over and try USB 2 again. I heard that 11 is going to reject some of the older hardware. I'm wondering if that's it. And also the trail cameras, I got a 16 megabit trail cam, which is up, I'm usually at 12. And big difference. I had big problems because they're huge file. You do a 10-second frame, and it's multi-gigabytes of data.
Really?
Well, I got like 210-second 16 gig movies. Okay, with high resolution set, and it's a booger. And now I got a 20 gig ordered. The 20 gig was $20. $22. That's good shit. What's that thing? What?
This is new.
My Ghostbusters cars. Nobody asked why. There we go.
Nobody should
They're
ask
getting there,
why.
They're getting there. We're getting there. We're training, good training in here.
Why does Leroy need all these Hot Wheels cars? Why is Leroy insane?
We got Stay Puff on the corner lot down from us. Yeah.
Why is Leroy insane? That's a good question.
We're way past that.
We are way past that.
So you're talking to Snide, the Snide master. What about these other guys that cleaned you for money or cleaned you for information? Where are they? They still around? Which people interviewed for a couple hours? You were going back?
Yeah, I had one interview. I got to a third interview. I thought everything was going wonderful. Oh well.
Yeah, they're pumping you. Sounds like they were pumping you, man.
Yeah, that's
You got to realize, because I've worked for companies, that's what they did. They're an actual paper to be specific.
No,
That's what they did for a living.
I
They'd
worked
have
for
everybody
international
come.
paper.
They got the big name. They invite everybody.
I worked for international paper in 82 down in Hamilton, or Fair. Yeah, that's Hamilton there. My job was keeping a Xerox printer filled with paper.
I worked at National Central Engineering. It was in a shopping center, basically, in Mobile, Alabama.
You ready to shut that thing off? The tiny one? Uh-oh. Yeah, that's one of the corgis.
Yeah, this is the one I told you.
Yeah.
You move this wheel and it launch the missiles.
Wow. I can't afford a corgi.
There is like
$280
a saw
dollars.
in the center of it's a saw that moves.
And it had little statues of Batman and Robin out of metal.
The back there is a tiny orange plastic thing that moves like fire when you move the wheels.
Can't. You need to find it. You could get rich from selling the corgis.
This is the Kimba one. Supposedly the first personal computer, 1971. I was designing a guacamole game. You need to hit the lights as they appear, and you have a score counter. And every 5 seconds, the game go faster and faster, you know. So finally, you will lose. You miss eight malls, the game stops. So this is my. There is a semi-random mall generator. Start waiting for press a key, and then you need to hit the light that has appeared.
Next one is
Wow.
Simon. You remember Simon? Vicente?
Yeah,
Simon, yeah.
yeah. I was thinking of to make. Okay, this is the score in binary.
Mm,
Have like
No,
this is 32. Mhm. 16 plus 8, 24 plus 3, 25 is your score. The number of balls you hit.
mm.
Yes, I have in mind several games. Stop. I did the dice roller, the ping pong game.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah.
I have several in the list. I am designing one that is a Mars lander that you have
Oh, yeah.
initial speed and height. And you need to use fuel to
Yeah. I had one
increase
of
your
those on the
speed without
TI-58.
run out of fuel. You need to estimate
Yeah.
when to fire and what amount of fuel to do.
Yep, yep.
I already it's already working in the Excel
Spreadsheet.
spreadsheet. Yes, using only 8 bits maths. You know, very simple thing. It's working very nice. I need to translate to this thing.
I wrote an 8085 cross compiler in Lotus 123 once. That's pretty good.
This is pushing ones and zeros and nest.
Yeah.
But I design an assembler and a disassembler. So I use a test editor and send the program line by line to my ruler, and it converts everything to assembly. So I check run, work or not. I can use breakpoints to stop the program whenever I want and check the registers. But everything is happening in your terminal. Maybe I'll show it maybe the next week how I add all this stuff to the basic emulation. I have the line assembler, the disassembler, the DOM, the X editor, the editor for creation. You can check all the program is running. You can check the memory while the program is running. You can change values while the program is running. Can view all the creation variables.
One of those stupid radios runs Nintendo games. There's a couple of Nintendo games. How you know?
Can do.
Ham radio transceiver and Nintendo box.
That's for when you get bored sitting out in field day.
Because this is a closed box. There is no I/O to the real world. I added I2C port to show outside the content of the display and to read the buttons in any hardware you want. So you can make a program and the register, the input and output register are mirrored outside. So you can use anything outside. I made a box that I call arcade box with big buttons that you can smash to play this without worry about damage anything. Use the real.
Yeah, somebody had a Switch app for the Stradivarius this week. A Switch emulator. That's old news, I guess.
Nintendo Switch or,
Nintendo Switch.
okay,
Emulator.
sorry, network
Using
guy.
the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, I was thinking network too.
It's very, very limited. You can press any combination of the others. You have only 256 address in the memory. Okay? You can address any value and set this as memory address, and then you can push read, and you read the content of this address. Each time you push read, you are incrementing the address and check. You also can do any value and press store, so you will change all the. And because this is an emulator, you have keys combinations to save your program in an EEPROM.
Really?
The EEPROM has several pages, so you can have several full memory contents saved in different pages of your EEPROM.
A
So
50-cent chip can fill that thing's RAM 300 times.
What chip is in there?
this is an 18 mega.
Amiga.
It's an Arduino. It's an Arduino loader. You use the program is in the Arduino IDE, and you download the program of the simulator, and then you are running your vintage computer as the real one. Now you are in the final loop of the program.
So we gotta
So,
start
so
over.
you need to restart your program counter. The program counter is in the address direction number 3.
Okay.
Set, and the program counter must start at 4 store. So now you can run the program again.
Aha.
It's very interesting because it's so limited.
So
Yeah, you
byte
need to-
0 and 1 are X and Y register?
No,
Byte
there is
0,
A, B, C. No,
okay,
A, B, and X registers.
okay,
But they are mapped in the 0, 1, and 2 address. Everything is in the memory address. And the X register can be used as an index to access
Right.
tables and stuff. You can test.
Getting hard.
But
I did so well.
well, and you can change a register that define the speed of the game. So you can make it more difficult, or you can change the number of these models. You can, instead of 8, you can put 16, 32, or 20, whatever. You can change the game as you wish. But I start with the game format, with a formal design using state machines and embedded system design with a graphic, all the parts and timers and everything, but this thing cannot run this kind of things there. So I changed everything to another format to fit inside this computer. This kit cost $120.
It's not
To
bad.
be assembled. Used to be cheaper when the box was plastic. It cost $60. Well, the guy who designed this kit changed for metal thing. So see, this is a very complex thing, you know, metal stuff to make this. This is CNC work. So the simulator was made by a person in New Zealand 10 years ago. And this guy in Minnesota, or one of those states north of
Wisconsin, Minnesota.
yeah.
Chicago.
He designed a kit using the Arduino software and the original drawings of the schematic. He designed a PCB and made the box like the original thing, and is selling the kit. That's it.
That'd be some kits that people could be selling to make some money. I'm always thinking about making money. Jeez, they're doing something.
They're doing that.
productive. Yeah, well, yeah, but he's gonna buy this. He's not gonna sell them. He's buying those for his personal use. You should be putting stuff together. You can make your own boards now.
Yeah.
Putting stuff together for other, you should be making ham radio transceivers for us.
I can.
Yeah.
I am retired. I know he has a big enough market to try to do
I know,
something.
yeah, that would be too small a
You
market.
will sell, popular here, you will sell 100. I just having fun. It's like make Sudokus or something. I know how to design embedded systems, so I do stuff. But
But you have tools.
Yeah.
You should build stuff. Yeah, there are lots of things out there, lots of new stuff. Image recognition, you can do image recognition big time. It should be out.
Doesn't have a camera.
It doesn't have a camera.
I got a 20 meg coming in, 20 meg camera cost me $20. Jeez.
I just bought a box bender, a metal machine, just to make boxes for all computers.
Hey,
And
okay.
I have the,
Metal shop, he can open a metal shop. That's
I have
cutting
all,
edge.
I have
Yeah.
all the surface mount assembly line, you know, at home.
See?
Now it's hard to find any microcontroller, you know,
Mhm.
very, very hard. And they are expensive. They are costing 4 times or 3 to 4 times.
Well, you used to
They
buy
original
them for
price.
3 cents a piece. And I said, that's not normal, okay?
I bought a micro, for my control from Newark in February. They are expecting that they will send me in November, but I have no hopes of that. A back order, almost a year.
Newark is a target audience. That's a different target audience. Like
I think that they
DigiKey.
now belong to this group of
Well, MCM, Newark, and
14,
somebody
something.
else.
Allied.
something 14.
Element 14,
Yeah.
Element 14.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the group element 14 bought new one.
Oh, really?
Which in turn bought MCM, which bought something else. There's a huge, they're a huge thing now of electronics. It's all umbrellaed under.
Yeah. I thought element 14 was
Element
fairly small.
Me
Apparently
me
not.
too, but maybe there is a lot of investment.
I
behind that.
think it was Newark that bought Element 14. Newark is pretty big.
Or maybe, I don't know.
I think they kept the Element 14 brand though, because Element 14 had a rather large following where MCM was pretty much all local stuff.
It's for making mainly they stuff.
What, one of the admin stuff that you do, the admin type stuff that you do, are there consolidators? Back in the day, there were consolidators who put together packages of software for particular business purposes, process control, whatever application, storage and retrieval systems. And that's all they did. They were consolidators. What do you need? And you put together various systems to make them work together. And
Under a brand? Under a brand or?
no, they would do customs, all custom. His engineering outfits were bad to do that. That's what they did.
Yeah, but they didn't do it well usually.
But they
'Cause
made
they
a lot of
only
money.
saw-
Who
they only
cares if
saw-
it's good or bad? They made a lot of money.
Well, their customers did.
No,
And then their
they-
customers said, wait a minute, you said you could do this. And it turns out you could only do half of that. And then you blame the fact that you couldn't do the other half on us.
These people are still around doing the same thing. They
And an
put
awful lot of them are.
PLCs into huge control systems and integrate them into a manufacturing system.
Yeah.
Into a console, and they would work. They did work. They were quite successful. And there are a bunch of them spin-offs that weren't, like
Yeah.
ICS. And that's cool. I bet they're gone. But yeah, but do they have consolidators now? Is that a unique skill? Do you have some unique skills is what I'm getting
No,
to
no,
market? No, okay.
I'm not doing it.
Putting together a combination of packages, unique combinations that happen to fit a niche.
Yeah. Oh, I did that.
Yeah. There ought to be some
Oh,
money in
silo.
that if you find a
Nice.
niche.
It needs to,
My niche was email servers.
can it fade the LEDs? Or does it
Nah.
just blink?
After Star Galactica,
When
But
the
guys-
battery pack starts to go dead, then they fade.
Then they start to fade. It doesn't do, it can't do like pulse width modulation and fade the LEDs up and down.
It could.
yeah, but it's slow. You can-
Yeah, because both the Cylon and
They have
Night
like a
Riders,
trace.
they
like,
had a little trail.
Okay, but you can do. Well, I can.
It'd be easier to do it with capacitors.
It was, yeah,
I will do it for the next this week.
going. Just a couple of them. One would fade. One would fade down and another one would start to fade up and the third one would be full brightness and
Yeah,
then
you have like
just
a-
start doing the whole thing over.
I think the lead one was full brightness instantly. And then you were at like 60% pulse width, 30%,
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, they did it. It was, when it was done originally, it was incandescent light and it was more of a
Oh, really?
persistent vision kind of deal. It was a side effect, but it was a neat effect. And it's hard to duplicate that effect with LEDs because you've got to figure out what the actual fade times are. I've seen a couple of them that have been really good, that have been close, but if you look at the original and you look at anything that anybody's done with LEDs, the LEDs are usually not quite right. They're close, but they're not quite right. And it's because the incandescents just dim differently.
Mhm.
There's a graph of the efficiency of the LED technology in the last 50 years. It's impressive. With 100 of the current, you can have the same intensity of the LED of 1970s,
Mhm.
with less of today. Means that the LED efficiency they grow more than 100 times in those years.
Yeah. I have a string of 50 LEDs, Halloween thing, that sit there and just glow. They're running on 3 AA batteries. They've been going for 2 weeks now.
The LED technology are making the lighting cheaper, you know, but because the lighting is
But they keep
becoming
saying,
cheaper, people is using more light and more light. So
I did.
we almost are using the same energy for lighting, but we have light everywhere.
yeah,
And it's a lot cheaper, like I said.
but then they tell us this $14 bulb is gonna last for 30,000 hours and it dies in a year and a half. And doesn't
It's
die
not a
well.
great business to sell the bulbs.
But they're getting better. They're
Yeah.
getting better. One of my little things like I gave you, the little lights, it bit the bullet the other day. I was outside for probably a year and a half, 2 years, and it bit the bullet. But it didn't have it didn't turn off during the day. It still detected motion during the day.
Okay.
And I have one in the garage that's been there, and it's fine. It
They
only,
used to last for 50,000 hours or something, several years.
and I mean, the runtime is very, because it's in the garage, it's only there. Okay, it's only on when somebody's in the garage, which is not very often. It'll last forever.
You are planning to make a museum or something?
No, I'm just nuts. I just like collecting these stupid things.
We're back to asking why questions.
You need to work with Ray to make a
Presentation case.
yeah, some kind of box or cabinet or something with plexiglass, you know, and have all of them inside.
You can do your recognition. This
Far
is
from the dust.
Batmobile and the different Batmobiles.
That's
This is
actually
89
that's actually I was going to try to train the cameras to pick out.
With laser, you put the gear,
Yeah.
the model.
Yeah.
Be-
Well,
be very.
I need to get a new SD card because the camera doesn't recognize the SD card anymore, but that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna take pictures of all of them and then have it identified because each one's a little teeny tiny bit different. And I was going to see if it would recognize, you know, this one, or if it was just going to be generic enough and just say, oh, it's a Batmobile.
It's a car.
It's a car. But it's gotta be trained. It's gotta be trained to do it.
Okay, it's about time to start
So-
wrapping up.
I did make the display thing. Oh, I already ate one of those.
I bought a couple of bags
Oh,
for my
the-
daughter.
The L&M Railroad in your city, L&M Railroad, take a little trip during the day, take your little honey over there, and about an hour, 15 minutes, they take it down 6 miles and 6 miles back. Interesting, it's from Cincinnati to Dayton. It was